The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 5, Section 1, Epistles. 66, Switzerland, 26 August 1896. Dear Nanjunda Rao, I have just now got your letter. I am on the move. I have been doing a great deal of mountain climbing and glacier crossing in the Alps. Now I am going to Germany. I have an invitation from Professor Deucin to visit him at Kiel. From hence, I go back to England. Possibly, I will return to India in this winter. What I objected to in the design for the Prabudha Bharata was not only its towering, but the crowding in the number of figures without any purpose. A design should be simple, symbolic, and condensed. I will try to make a design for Prabhuta Bharat in London and send it over to you. The work is going on beautifully. I am very glad to say. I will give you one advice, however. All combined efforts in India sink under the weight of one equity. We have not yet developed strict business principles. Business is business in the highest sense, and no friendship. Or, as the Hindu proverb says, I shame should be there. One should keep the clearest account of everything in one's charge and never apply the funds intended for one thing to any other use whatsoever, even if one starves the next moment. This is business integrity. Next, energy unfailing. Whatever you do, let that be your worship for for the time. Let this paper be your God for the time, and you will succeed. When you have succeeded in this paper, start vernaculars only on the same lines in Tamil, Telugu, Canaries, etc. We must reach the masses. The Madrasis are good, energetic, and all that, but the land of Shankaracharya has lost the spirit of renunciation, it seems. My children must plunge into the breach, must renounce the world. Then the firm foundation will be laid. Go on bravely. Never mind about these designs and other details at present. With the horse will with the horse will come the rein. Work unto death. I am with you, and when I am gone, my spirit will work with you. This life comes and goes. Wealth, fame, enjoyment are only of a few days. It is better, far better, to die on the field of duty, preaching the truth, than to die like a worldly worm advanced. Yours with all love and blessing, Vivekanand. 67. Miss H. Muller. Arley Lodge, Ridgeway Garden, Wimbledon, England, 22 September 1896. Dear Elasinga, I am sure you have got the article on Ramakrishna I sent you by Max Muller. Do not be sorry, he does not mention me there at all, as it was written 6 months before he knew me. And then who cares whom he mentioned, if he is right in the main point? I had a beautiful time with the Professor Deucin in Germany. Later, he and I came together to London, and we have already become a great friend. I am soon sending you an article on him. Only pray do not put that old fashioned dear sir before that my article. Have you seen the Rajayog book yet? I will try to send you the design for the coming year. I will try to send you a design for the coming year. I send you a daily news article on the books book of travel, right, written by Zaire of Russia. The paragraph in which he speaks of India as a land of spirituality and wisdom. You ought to quote in your paper and send the article to the Indian Mirror. You are very welcome to publish the Jnana Yoga lecture as well as Dr. Nanjunda Roy is in his Awakened India, only the simpler one. They have to be very gone careful they have to be very carefully gone through and all repetitions and contradictions taken out. I am sure I will now have more time to write, work on with energy, with love all time. Yours, Vivekanand. P.S. I have marked the passage to be quoted. The rest of the course is useless for the paper. I do not think I would be good it I would be, I do not think it would be good just now to make the paper a monthly one yet, unless you are sure of giving a good bulk. As it is now, the bulk and the matter are all very poor. There is yet a vast untrodden field, namely the written writings of lives and work of Tulsidas, Kabir, Nanak, and of the saints of southern India. They should be written in the thorough going scholarly style and not a sliphood, slovenly way. In fact, the idea of the paper, apart from the preaching of Vedanta, should be to make it a magazine of Indian research and scholarship, and of course, bearing on religion. You must approach the best writer and get carefully written articles from their pen. Work on with all energy. Yours with love, Vivekanand. 68. 14 Grey Court Garden, Westminster, London, 1896. Dear Alasinga, I have returned about 3 weeks from Switzerland, but could not write you further before. I have sent you by last mail a paper of Paul Deucin of Kale. Study's plan about the magazine is still hanging fire. As you see, I have left the St. George Road place. We have a lecture hall at 36 Victoria Street. E.T. Sturdy will always reach me for the year to come. The rooms at Grey Court Garden are only lodgings for self and other Swami taken for 3 months only. The work in London is growing apace. The classes are becoming bigger as they go on, and I have no doubt this will go on increasing at this rate. And the English people are steady and loyal. Of course, as soon as I leave, most of the fabric will tumble down. Something will happen. Some strong man will arise to take it up. The Lord knows what is good. In America, there is a room for 20 preachers on the Vedant and Yoga where you get these preachers and where also the money to bring them. Half the United States can be conquered in 10 years. Given a number of strong and genuine names, where are they? We are all bobbies over there. Selfish cowards with our nonsense of lip patriotism, orthodoxy, and boosted religious feeling. The Madrasis have more of go and steadiness, but every fool is married. Marriage, marriage, marriage. Then the way our boys are married nowadays, it is very good to aspire to be non-attached householders, but what we want in Madras is not that just now, but non-marriage. My child, what I want is muscles of iron and nerves of steel, inside which dwells a mind of same materials as that of which the thunderbolt is made. Strength, manhood, shas, Shastra Virya plus Brahma Teja. Our beautiful, hopeful boy have everything only if they are not slaughtered by the millions at the altar of this brutality they call marriage. O Lord, hear my wails. Madras will then awaken when at last 100 of its very heart's blood in the form of the least 100 of its very hard blood, in the form of its educated young men, will stand aside from the world, gird their loins, and be ready to fight the battle of truth, marching on from country to country. One blow struck outside of India is equal to the 100,000 struck within. Well, all will come if the Lord wills it. Miss Muller was the person who offered that money I promised. I have told her about your new proposal. She is thinking about it. In the meanwhile, I think it is better to give her some work. She has consented to be the agent for the Brahma Badani and Awakened India. Will you write to her about it? Her address is Arley Lodge, Rigway Garden, Wimbledon, India. I was living with her over there for the last few weeks, but the London work cannot go on without my living in London. As such, I have changed quarters. I am sorry it has chagrined chagrined Miss Mueller a bit. Cannot help. Her full name is Miss Henrietta Muller. Max Muller is getting very friendly. I am soon going to deliver two lectures at Oxford. I am busy writing something big on the Vedant philosophy. I am busy collecting passage from the various Vedas bearing on the Vedant in its threshold aspect. You can help me by getting someone to collect passages bearing on first the Vedantic idea, then the Vishishta Vedantic, and then the dualistic from the Samhitas, the Brahmanas, the Upanishad, and the Puranas. They should be classified and very legibly written with the name and the chapter of the book in each case. It would be a pity to leave the West without leaving something of the philosophy in the book's form. There was a book published in Mysore in Tamil characters, comprising all the 108 Upanishad. I saw it in the Professor Dionsin's library. It there is there a reprint of the same in Devanagari. Is there a reprint of the same in the Devanagari Lipi? If so, send me a copy. If not, send me Tamil edition and also write on the sheet the Tamil letters and compounds and all juxtaposed with its Nagari equivalent so that I may learn the Tamil letters. Mr. Mr. Satyanath, whom I met in London the other day, said that there has been a friendly review of a Rajayog book in the Madras Mall, the chief Anglo-Indian paper in Madras. The leading the leading physiologist in America, I hear, has been charmed with my speculations. At the same time, there have been some in England who ridiculate my idea. Good. My speculations, of course, are awful bold. A good deal of them will ever remain meaningless, but there are hints in it which the physiologist had better taken up earlier. Nevertheless, I am quite satisfied with the result. Let them talk badly of me if they please, but let them talk in my motto. In England, of course, they are gentlemen and never talk the rot I had in America. Then again, the England missionaries you see over there are nearly all of them from the dissenters. They are not from the the gentlemen's class in England. The gentlemen here who are religious all belong to the English church. The dissenters have very little voice in England and no education. I never hear of those people here against whom you time to time warn me. They are unknown here and dare not talk nonsense. I hope Rama K. Naidu is already in Madras you and you are enjoying good health. Preserving on my brave lad, we have only just begun. Never dispound, never say enough. As soon as a man comes over to the West and sees different nations, his eyes open. This way I get strong worker, not by talking, but by practically showing what we have in India and what we have not. I wish at least that a million Hindus had traveled all over the world. Yours ever with love, Vivekananda. Care of E.T. Strode, ISCO, ESO, 39 Victoria Street, London, 28 October 1896. Dear Alasinga, I am not yet sure what month I shall reach India. I am not yet sure what month I shall reach India. I will write later about it. The new Swami delivered his maiden speech yesterday at the Friendly Society meeting. It was good and I liked it. He has the making of a good speaker in him, I am sure. You have not yet brought out the again books must be cheap for India to have a large scale. The types must be bigger to satisfy the public. You can very well get out the cheap edition of if you like. I have not reserved any copy on its purposely. You have missed a good opportunity by not getting out the book earlier. But we Hindus are so slow that when we have done a work, the opportunity has already passed away, and thus we are the losers. Your books came out after a year's talk. Did you think the Western people would wait for it till Domesday? You have lost three-fourths of the sale by this delay. That Haramohan is a fool. That Haramohan is a fool, slower than you, and his printing is diabolical. There is no use of publishing books that way. It is cheating the public and should not be done. I shall most probably return to India accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Sevier, Miss Muller, and Mr. Godwin. Mr. and Mrs. Sevier are probably going to settle in Almora at least for some time, and Mr. Godwin is going to become a sannyasin. He is of he is of course well traveled. He of course will travel with me. It is he to whom we owe all our books. He took shorthand notes of my lecture, which enabled the books to be published. All these lectures were delivered on the sprue of the moment, without the least preparation, and as such, they should be carefully revised and edited. Godwin will have to live with me. He is strict vegetarian. Yours with love, Vivekanand. P.S. I have sent a little note on to the Indian Mirror today about the Dr. Boros and how he should be welcomed. You also write some good words of welcome for him in the Brahmavadin. All here send love. Vivekanand. 70 London 29 October 1896. On the eve of lecture tour of Dr. Barrows in India at the end of 1896, Swami Vivekanand, in a letter to the Indian Mirror, Calcutta, introduced the distinguished visitor to his countrymen and advised them to give him a fitting reception. He wrote, among other things, as following: Dr. Barrow was a ableist lieutenant Mr. C. Bonney could have selected to carry out successfully his great plan of the Congresses at the World's Fair, and it is now a matter of history how one of these Congresses scored a unique distinction under the leadership of Dr. Barrows. I was a great courage. I was the great courage, untiring industry, unruffled patient, and never failing contrary of Dr. Barrows that made the parliament a grand success. India, its people, and their thoughts have been brought more prominently before the world than ever before by the wonderful gathering at Chicago. And that national benefit we certainly owe to Dr. Burroughs more to any other man at that meeting. Moreover, he comes to us in the scared name of religion, in the name of one of the great teachers of mankind, and I am sure his exposition of the system of the Prophet of Nazareth would be extremely liberal and elevating. The Christ power this man intended to bring to India is not that of the intolerant, dominant superior with the heart full of contempt for everything else but its own self, but that of a brother who craves for a brother's place as a co worker of a various powers already working in India. Above all, we must remember that gratitude and hospitality are the peculiar characteristic of Indian humanity, and as such, I would beg my countrymen to behave in such a manner that these strangers